Hello and welcome to another episode of the ChromoCymatics podcast. I hope everybody's staying warm. Temperatures are plummeting on the East Coast tonight again, so stay warm, everybody. Stay warm. I hope you have power. A lot of people have lost power. Today we're talking about the BioWell, this little device right here. All right, so we've been talking about the harmonic egg. That's one of the tools that we use here at ChromoCymatics Wellness. The other thing is this here. This is the BioWell. So this is actually Russian technology right here. So inside here is a piece of glass. I don't know if you can see that. It's a piece of glass in there that's at a 45-degree angle, right? That's tempered glass. At one time, that was pure quartz. And this was $30,000 back then. Now you can get one for like $3,000 with the tempered glass version of it. But this is something that was developed actually and used by the KGB. They would use this for lie detection. And some people still use it in a similar fashion. Nowadays, all you do is you scan your ring fingers, both ring fingers. And it tests the stress on the body. And they don't use it necessarily for lie detection, but they have this bib. It looks like a bib. They call it a bridle that you put on your neck. It has a little pouch here, right around your heart chakra. And they can take like a pill. Say you have a certain dosage of a supplement or medicine that you take, and you want to see if your body agrees with it. They'll put the pill or that dosage of the pill, whether it's 2 capsules or 1 capsule, they'll put it in the bib, and then they will scan your both ring fingers, and it would see the stress on the body, whether the body agrees with that dosage or not. It's almost like a form of kinesiology, like people do muscle testing and they test your muscles. It's very similar to that, and it can be used in that fashion. That's not how I use it. I use this to scan your energetic field, and we scan all 10 fingers as opposed to just your ring finger. And it's based on something called Gas Discharge Visualization, and that's an older technology. It used to be called Kirlian photography. There was a guy named Kirlian, I believe he was in the 30s. He created a camera that could take a picture of like a leaf, and you could see the aura around the leaf, right? With this, we're looking at the aura around all 10 fingers and different sections of those auras are telling me things about you. So I can see your chakras. I can see your energy level. I can see how well aligned your chakras are. I can see how much energy is in each chakra. I can also see how your body is distributing your energy throughout all the systems in the body and how well balanced that is. And when I say balance, I'm talking about energy from the right as opposed to the energy from the left meridians. And that's the reason why we scan all 10 fingers, left and right, because we're looking at the meridians as they terminate at your fingers. So all your meridians terminate at your appendages, right? Things that stick out from the body, your ears. I don't know if you've ever seen the Chinese medicine where they superimpose a fetus on top of your ear, and they can actually target acupuncture points on your ear based on how that fetus superimposed inside the ear. Same thing with your toes. They're considered appendages, so you can actually you can access energy from your toes. That's what reflexology is all about, actually. They're accessing energy because your meridians terminate there. Well, your meridians also terminate at your fingers. So we're looking at the aura around the very tip of the finger to show us all of that information. And I use that information to actually figure out what I'm going to do with the harmonic egg, what colors I'm going to use, what intentions are we going to set? Because I can tell a lot about your chakras based on certain alignment, size of certain chakras, because certain things are stored in certain chakras. Say, for instance, if you have like a very small sacral chakra, I'll start asking questions about mother issues or self-appraisal issues where you criticized a lot when you were young and things like that, because that's where your self-appraisal is. And when that chakra is small, especially as opposed to your other chakras, it prompts me to ask some questions because that may lead us to an intention to help you with something that you're actually dealing with that may even be physical. one thing the BioWell shows me is your meridians as well. Now I add screenshots into this so you can see this as I talk about it. They show me all of your meridians in the body and the energy in the meridians and how balanced they are. That tells me a lot as well, because different meridians are represented by different elements, like element fire, element earth, element water. That gives me clues too on what type of music to put you on in the Bible. For instance, I have a lot of females that come in, particularly African American females. Actually, was what I noticed. They'll tend to have weaknesses in their fire elements, like the heart meridian, and the small intestines meridian. And what I notice is when those meridians are weak, the rest of the body tends to suffer as a result of that. So when I put them in the egg and I focus on those meridians that carry the fire element, for instance, I'll put them on a track called Element Fire. It's literally like fire sounds playing inside the egg while they're in there. And when I do that, it actually boosts all the fire-related meridians, and then everything else benefits from that. So if they had trouble with other meridians like the liver or pericardium or even the kidneys, I noticed that fire element, that's like their Achilles heel. If you address that, everything else benefits from that. It's sort of like doshas in Ayurvedic medicine. Like people with those weaknesses in the fire element, and they have to be dealt with and give attention to that. They more than likely will be like a Pitta dosha, which is a fire dosha. And that's a dosha is like your body type, and that would dictate how you exercise, how you eat, basically how you live your life. And this is a whole Ayurvedic thing in India, but very effective, very effective. But it's kind of loosely translated in Chinese medicine when you're looking at elements. And I've noticed that when I have people that have a compromised fire element and I put them on an element fire track, everything, the chakras align better. All the other meridians tend to benefit from that because I'm focusing on that. So that's just one example of how I can use meridians to actually figure out what we're going to do inside the egg in terms of color and sound. So also the meridians like the kidney meridian or the bladder meridian, which I had a young lady here. She had stab wounds in her head, but it was affecting her bladder meridian. So she became incontinent, and the doctors were focused on these stab wounds in the head, obviously, because they're worried about brain trauma. But those wounds were right along the bladder meridian. And by me focusing on the bladder meridian in the egg, especially with the element water, after 2 sessions, she was able to actually get up out of the bed and go to the bathroom because those stab wounds are right along that meridian. And that's something like traditional medicine, Western medicine, they don't really pay attention to stuff like that. They're more concerned about the physical trauma, as they should be, that needed to be addressed. But by me focusing on that bladder meridian inside the egg and recognizing it and seeing it in the BioWell, that helped her be able to actually get up and go to the bathroom on her own and not be incontinent. So we saw weaknesses in the bladder meridian when we scanned, and after we did the session in the egg, those weaknesses all were normalized. The energy was no longer weak in the bladder meridian, which is where the wounds were. So that's another example of how we take advantage of that information that comes from the BioWell. One interesting thing, like last episode, we talked about remote sessions with the BioWell. So I have a client. She does only remote sessions, and she has one of these. And what she does is she scans herself. So whenever we use the BioWell in the harmonic egg, we scan you first, and we see what your energetic baseline is. We put you in the egg, and then we do a second scan to see what the egg did to change that baseline. She does this remotely. So she scans herself with the BioWell, and then she sends me the actual report. Since she has a BioWell, she has access to the BioWell software, so she can actually send scans directly to me so that I can actually look at them. So I look at her scan, and I remember, and she gave me permission. I'm going to share this with you all. she had issues with her liver, and she had ongoing issues with her liver. We would put her in the egg, and it would fix it, and then when she would come back like a month later, still same thing. And it was some personal stuff she was dealing with that was causing that. Remember, you hold anger and resentment in your liver, so that's something you may have to continue to work on if you're constantly being placed in an environment where you're having anger and resentment towards someone. So just keep that in mind. So we saw that in her liver. I put her on a track that focused on the element wood, because your liver and your liver meridian are associated with the wood element. So we have a track called Liver Remedy, which actually focuses on the element wood. Like every instrument in the song is made out of wood. There are even wood sticks that are being hit together, you can hear. And the body responds to that. And also put her on the color yellow, which is the solar plexus, which is associated with the liver. So she's on the color yellow for the solar plexus. And we're on the liver remedy, which focuses on the element wood inside the egg. And after she was done, she did another scan. She sent it to me, and you can see the difference where she had weak energy in her liver before she started. After the session, the energy was normal. It raised and went up to a normal level. And I'll share those images with you. So that's a way how we even remotely were able to use the biowell, and actually it actually complements the egg, because now you can actually see the power of the remote session with the biowell, just as if you were here. These are remote sessions. I have her picture in the egg. And if you haven't seen the remote session episode, check the episode before this one, episode 8, where we're talking about remote sessions in the egg and how they work. This is a way we can actually see the results before and after in a remote session. She's the only client that I can actually run that experiment with, because she just so happens to have a biowell that she actually went out and purchased. We've even done group sessions where she's in Brooklyn and she's scanning people in Brooklyn and sending me the results immediately. And I'm basically doing a consultation, telling them what they would need to do in the harmonic egg to deal with what I'm seeing in their biowell sessions as they're being scanned in New York. And then a whole van load of them would just drive down here and actually get in the egg, or we would do remote sessions. So it's kind of cool to have a client with that, and she's willing to hold little sessions with people in other states where I can actually see the results in real time, because we can share the results on the biowell software. So it's a great tool to have. You don't have to use the biowell to use the harmonic egg. This is just something that I thought was a great complement to the harmonic egg, especially because I send these reports to you. So you get a PDF form of the report that you can save. And I have people that print these out. They highlight things. They come in. They want to discuss things. And they really like having a running history of their energetic profile as they use the harmonic egg over time. So it becomes very useful, and it's an attraction for them. Like I said in the last episode, some people don't want to do remote sessions simply because they don't get to use the biowell. And I also mentioned they're working on a way to use this remotely. So I'm still looking into that. I'm a little skeptical about that, but I was skeptical about the remote sessions with the harmonic egg, and that proved me wrong. They actually work. So this is a short episode. Next week, we have our first guest on the podcast, and her name is Jasmine Clemente, author, yogi, singer, songwriter, coach, you name it, good friend of mine. She'll be on the show next week. We're talking about her new book, More Than One Soulmate, and maybe her other books. We may get a chance to talk about that as well, and just her journey and how she got into this spirituality world, coming from being a singer and performer and songwriter. You are unstoppable. No one can stop you but you. Don't dim your light for anyone. Love yourself.